Has the thought of quitting crossed my mind lately? Yes. That's one way of starting this week's video. So struggles. The idea of quitting, the idea of stopping is crossed my mind, and I am sure that anybody that is busy with their practice has had these moments of red lights. You and your practice are constantly just moving forward, but at some time you'll hit an intersection and you're gonna have to pick: keep on going or exit. My ambition is again to release these videos earlier. When I was meant to upload my video on Wednesday or the latest on a Friday, and I reached Sunday and I still haven't done a video, it's so easy for me to feel I just want to drop it. It doesn't have to be like quitting and skipping the whole process that I'm having, like the whole Road 35 to Infinity with weekly videos. One video a week. Give myself like, oh okay, it's Sunday, it's the last day, I don't want to have that stress of making that video, so I'll skip this week. Nobody will notice, and even if that's the case, I will carry it with me, and it will also make me feel, like I'm letting myself down, and that it's all me. Like I'm setting my deadlines. I am the one that is, on myself to to get it out on a certain time, or I'm stressing myself out because I'm behind my own schedule. It's all me. But I do also know that as soon as I do get it up and I can look back at my consistency, I do feel good about myself, and I do feel happy. I feel proud of myself for hanging in there and for sticking to what I've decided to do. And something that I'm mentioning a lot, the word struggles, and it makes me think of, or it reminds me of a post that I did on Instagram. What are struggles you run into within your practice? It's been almost 2 months since I asked that question, and I've been meaning to get back to it because struggles within practice is something that we won't get away from. There's always struggle. And I wanted to share some of the things that were mentioned and see if you relate, and if I relate, how do we deal with these struggles? Again, I'm no expert. I'm just a guy practicing and trying to figure things out. So struggle number 1, to actually practice. This for me is to actually just get to it, can be a struggle. To go from I want to do this and to actually get to it, to just start. And it's easy to push things forward, that you will do it later, or an excuse comes your way, makes you not do it. A quote that I read once: one day or day one. Is the practice that I'm doing something I want to do someday in the future, or do I want to start my first day now? You are the person that can make this happen. Are you gonna choose one day or day one? Struggle number 2, I put together 2 answers in this one. The first one, to find balance and structure in practice in combination with work or / gigs, and keeping my practice even when traveling. So to find the balance between your practice and work / gigs as a dancer, for me what has helped is to differentiate between what I call my daily habits / my Leviathan flow practice, so my practice, versus getting to a dance practice, for example. The reason why I wanted to split them up is because, for example, when I was traveling to France to perform, I would take an hour or whatever time I had before a rehearsal to warm up my body using my habits, to using my practice. If I was done rehearsing, I would also use time to do them, because then I was already warm, perhaps even if I'm tired from having done a rehearsal, but my habits didn't require necessarily a lot of thinking, and it was just moving, and I could get to it after practice. What is your practice? And what are things that you feel like you want to work on? I think as soon as we start to distinguish these things, instead of like, okay, I didn't get to my practice, I didn't get to my dance practice, but what is it that you want to practice? Maybe you can set out specific exercises that you need to do when you have a working week. Something that you need to get to no matter what. Figure out what is your practice focus at the moment. Write it down, and then instead of looking at it as a big practice that needs to be an hour and a half in order to be complete, what is something that you're working on, and are you able to spend 15 minutes on them? It could be one thing. Really see if you can break down what is it that your practice is revolved around, and in short, like puzzle pieces that make up your whole practice. And then if you only have so much time, grab one, do it, and I can guarantee that you will start to feel one step closer or finding this balance. And then it comes down to just checking how much time do you need for a full practice, and where can you find that in between your work. Struggle number 3. Here I also added more than one answer that people had given me. Focusing on one concept or exercise prevents me from going deeper into exploration. What to practice? Too much material, too much that I can work on. There's always gonna be a lot to do. The more we get into practicing, let's say if you take class in something, the more classes you take, the more information you're feeding yourself with, the more you'll know that you don't know. The more you will know of things that you need to work on to move forward in your practice. This is something that we won't get away from, and I hate to say it, but it's gonna just be even more. It can be felt like a struggle, but if we flip that around, I mean, on the other hand, it's a blessing that you have so much that you can work on. It's like heading into a library and seeing all the literature, all the books that are available to read. Of course, it's overwhelming if you're thinking that you need to read all of them. Yes, there's a lot of things that we can practice and become good at, and we can feel that we always need more, we need more. If we manage to just make a decision on something we want to practice, it's gonna be a step forward to a better version of yourself. If you're struggling with having too much information to work on, maybe first just find calmness in the fact that you only have so much time. Where are you in your practice, and where do you want to go? What are things that you do want to work on? Make that clear visually in front of you, and then from there, maybe structuring with certain exercises. Is there a specific exercise that you know of? Grab that and work on that. And if you have a hard time picking and setting up your schedule, write down the things that you want to work on. If you pick 6 things that you want to work on, put them down on a paper. Write down 1 to 6. Grab a dice. Roll it. Try, explore. Maybe rolling a dice really works for you. Maybe writing a bunch of papers with exercises or things that you want to work on. Put them in a hat, if you have one, or in a bag, and just pick one. Oh, floor work. Okay, cool. And you do that. So however you can make it almost playful to get to practice, do it. But there will always be a lot of things we can work on, and again, we only have so much time. So yeah, just enjoy it. Struggle number 4, giving shape to the freedom. This is one of these answers where like I wish at the time I would have gone back and asked, what do you mean? It's not too late. I'm just gonna ask. So I might not have an answer at this moment for struggle number 4, but then I'll just get back to it. So whenever I do these questions, I need to be more proactive and getting to them faster, because as soon as a lot of time passes, then you forget. So what was it that I was thinking even? Struggle number 5, overthinking everything. Now this is something I really can relate to. I know I have very close friends out there that think that I think too much or that I overthink. And how do I deal with overthinking? Honestly, like for this struggle, I wish I had a solution or something that might help, but I think a lot. I am a lot in my head, and I haven't found yet a way to get out of it. Because overthinking could be you analyze things a lot, and it comes with maybe analyzing, questioning stuff. You just need to tune it in a way where it keeps pushing you forward. Because as soon as the overthinking is something that is connected with doubt, or with like you're asking too many questions regarding things that you're working on, and it doesn't really move you forward, and you feel like you're building a wall of these thoughts that you end up just looking at, then yes, it's gonna then I feel like it's a struggle. If it's overthinking, but because you're trying to understand something, then I think it's a good thinking. And it's just a matter of fine-tuning it so that this wall more becomes a direction. At least that's what I would want to try to do now. I mean, I'm giving these thoughts also to myself. But overthinking, yeah, that's something I still do, and that's okay. Struggle number 6. Watching videos of myself. Usually never record myself during practice. Can't even count the amount of times I've heard somebody suggest to film myself. When you're on your own practicing, then the best way is to film. Set up a camera. I mean, now I feel like there's no way not to be able to film, almost. Like your phone is your closest thing. And then the struggle being to watch yourself. I have a hard time watching footage of myself, especially old footage. Oh, no, I don't like it. My mind immediately goes into judgment. I immediately just see what I don't like about my dance. This is a practice in itself that I think is very, very important to go through. I want to encourage everyone that is in their practice, film yourself, watch it. This ties in with just accepting yourself, because what you're gonna see is you. To just set up the camera, it immediately affects how you practice, even because you're aware of, okay, I am recording this right now, and this might set you off in a direction of, okay, now I need to perform so that when I look at it, I'm happy with what I did. Practice is to go through the imperfection. It's the more you see also of yourself not at your best, the easier it'll be to to be clearer in what is it that you want to work on. Like, so if you're trying to make a wave, maybe it starts off well and then somewhere it doesn't. So where does that happen? Okay, and immediately after watching, try again. Now with this awareness that around here somewhere, something is stopping me. Can you feel, oh yes, okay. Oh, okay, now I'm not doing this. And then that will help you. And also to have in mind that the video you just recorded is your past self. So anything from now on is gonna be an improvement, because at the moment you see yourself, you're gonna have information that you didn't have when you recorded it in the first place. And I do encourage to watch yourself, even if it's hard. I've judged myself so many times, but it's a step for me to practice on just loving myself, just accepting that the person I'm watching is me, and this person is doing an amazing job. This person is putting in the work. Yeah, to be happy and proud of yourself. Struggle number 7. Got some injuries that won't disappear or heal 100%, sadly. On my list of struggles that people shared, I think this one is the toughest one. Anything that comes with injuries, it is indeed a struggle, especially as a dancer. For me, it's hard to really talk about this because I can only consider myself lucky that I don't have a severe injury. What I would want to then just mention is the number that we focus on, which is 100%. How can we find or enjoy practice when the number is below that? And the lower the number becomes, the harder it is to find a way to practice. Yeah, I can only encourage people to try to find a way to practice, even if the numbers are below 100. I just hope that wherever you are in your body at the moment and at whatever percentage, I do hope that you find the power to keep moving, working towards your goals. Struggle number 8, having to practice instead of dance to grow. Well, for this one, you don't really have to practice. I think it's a moment that we set a certain ambition of where we would want to be in comparison to where we are, that the word practice really comes in, and that what is it that you want to achieve within dance. Because if you have a certain ambition to grow, then the practice is just your stepping stones to get there, and this should be a fun thing. There's not one way of practicing, because practice can look so different depending on the person, and that perhaps is the idea we have of practice that then becomes the struggle. That we have an idea that in order to practice, I need to do this, and this, or I need to look like this or that. The moment we understand that we are the one that decides how our practice should look like, I believe that any time spent purposefully on your craft is time spent on growth. If we have certain goals that we know will require more practice, then yeah, there's no escaping it. And practice should be fun. Practicing should be something that yes, it's hard, it's challenging, and it does require you to get out of a sense of comfort. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something you would want to spend time on. Struggle number 9, also I put more than one sentence in this. Worries that I do not do enough, not being nice to myself in the process. With practice, we will have moments, or at least I can recognize these things. I mentioned it before, there's a certain ambition or there's a certain vision I might have of myself or where I'm heading towards, and it's easy to feel like you're not doing enough. But we forget, or at least I forget, that I am doing. I shouldn't put so much weight on enough. I think here it's also a matter of my mind adding this word, because I'm doing. Not being nice to ourselves in the process. Yeah, unfortunately this is something that can be a huge part in our practice. We are not always very nice to ourselves, and it is a struggle, but it is also very important that we take a break from being in the process a little bit and just to look at what is it that I've been doing up until now, and acknowledging that you are spending time on your practice, on yourself. This is something to be proud of, and it's something to be thankful for. If I feel like I'm not doing enough, what is it that I'm not doing? If it's clear what it is that I'm not doing enough of, the next step is to see what would be my ideal version of doing this. What would be enough? Okay, how far am I away from that? Is it an hour a week more? A specific exercise that I'm not doing? Is it events that I'm not going to? So what is it that I'm missing in order for my practice to be enough? If this is clear, then if it's within my control, it's a matter of one day or day one. And of course, I'm making things sound like super easy, but sometimes it's easier to just worry that we don't do enough, but we don't perhaps know what enough is. Try to be nicer to yourself and your process. You're in a process, you're on a journey, and we want this journey to be going for quite a while, so be nice to yourself. Struggles are gonna be part of our practice. Now the challenge for us is to overcome them, find our ways, and yeah, I would love to hear if anything that was mentioned in this video is something that you agree with or disagree with it even. Let me know in the comments below. Do you have any tips for any of the struggles? How do you deal with the struggles mentioned? Yeah, just let me know in the comments below, and let's share, because practice is something that we don't really talk about so much, but we all do, some more, some less. It's a lengthy video this week, and I just want to thank you for tuning in, for being here with me, and do give it a like if you enjoyed what you were seeing, and share it with anybody you think might find it useful. That's it for this week, and I will see you in another video. Until then, enjoy your practice, and I'll catch you around.